Okay. Let's wait a few more seconds and then we'll get started. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Okay. All right. Well, let's give it a few 10 more seconds for everybody else to join and then we'll get started. Okay, I still saw people joining us. Okay, so while everybody's coming in, I just want to give a few logistic information. So let's do that now. So welcome everybody. My name is Monica. I am a college and career counselor with Futureology. With me, I do have some of my other colleagues, 2 other college and career counselors, Kristen and B, and then our coordinator, Anthony. We also have some awesome speakers for today. So just as a reminder, this presentation will be recorded and it will be available on our website within a week. So there's our website on the screen for you to see. Please use the Q&A button to ask questions. Your camera and microphone are off, so we can't see you, we can't hear you. So the only way that you can communicate with us is by using the Q&A button. So today I am very excited. We do have our presentation. It is on admissions, how college decisions are made in the holistic review. So I want to thank and introduce our speakers. We have some wonderful speakers. Our first speaker, Amanda Marsh from the University of Oklahoma. We also have Jordan Berner from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And then we also have Justin Richardson from NC State University. So as a reminder, again, this meeting will be recorded. We will promptly end hopefully by 5:45. We want to honor your time and we want to also jump into our next session at 6 p.m. So with that being said, I think we're ready to get started. Speakers, when you're ready, you can start.
Fantastic. So let's go ahead and just move on to the first slide. You guys, we have a wonderful presentation for you. I'm super, super excited to talk to you about how college decisions are made, and we're going to specifically cover holistic review. So if we can move to the next slide, we'll have a quick overview of what we're going to discuss. So we're going to talk about the college profile, cover different types of application review. We're going to discuss what is actually covered in a college application. We'll talk about types of decisions that are made. Your application game plan is something that we're really going to want to make sure that we go over. And then some action items for you as students. So you're going to have a little bit of homework to take away from this presentation, but not too much. So let's go ahead and get started. So the college profile. There are 3 admission types that we will cover in this presentation. So the first admission type you may be familiar with, it's open enrollment. Basically, if you apply, you're going to be admitted to the university unless there's some strange outstanding circumstances. Open enrollment really just means that they want to accept you when you apply to that university. So there are a few that exist like that. And that is a good kind of university to have on your list if you just want to know for sure you are going to go to college. A selective university is a university that just doesn't admit all of their applicants. So it still admits a large amount of applicants, but not every single person that applies is going to get an admissions decision or an admit decision. And then finally, highly selective, those are those schools, those are your reach schools, those are the ones that only admit 1/3 of the applicants or less. So those are the ones that are a little bit more challenging to get into. And it's good to have at least one from each area in your college list. So that's just a nice way to break it down. So the acceptance profile, things that they'll look at, average GPA, And this year, we know it's all crazy, but some schools are still looking at SATs and ACTs. Some schools have gone test optional, but those are some things that they will look at. They'll also look at what states or regions you're from. Maybe it's important to them that they diversify their student population, so they want to have people from all over the country or even all over the world. Majors that are offered, you know, some majors only have a certain amount of slots. Some schools, as many people as they want can come into those majors. Deadlines are going to be something you want to pay attention to, and then expanding for new programs. So some schools will offer scholarship opportunities or admission opportunities that you wouldn't normally have because of new programs that they wanted to develop. So lots of things to consider from the college's standpoint, and we'll keep moving forward. So types of application review. We, like I said, tonight are focusing on holistic, but first let me just cover that formula is essentially, they're gonna look at a GPA and a test score, and you're either in or you're not based on that formula. So that's one formula. They could consider certain other things, but essentially they just make a decision based off of some straightforward items. Holistic is where a university or a college is going to consider multiple pieces when evaluating you for admission. So it's not just going to be GPA or test score or how much you volunteered. It's going to be all the things that make you who you are as a student. So there are some subjective things that have to do with who reviews your file. So it could be reviewed, your file could be reviewed by the region that you live in. So I, in particular, review students who live in California, Arizona, Hawaii, Nevada. It could be by your high school. So an admissions counselor could be assigned to your high school. Perhaps it's in alphabetical order. So counselors assigned to students with A last names, or even majors. So some schools review you by what major you're applying to. And a review process could be just one admission counselor, multiple, or even a whole committee, or a combination of those things. So holistic really does have a lot of components going into it. And with every school, it's different. So like I said, there could be one reader per application, or there could be several. It really just depends on how each school chooses to do it. There's rolling admission, which schools can accept you all throughout the process. Early decision, which is a student will decide and commit to a school early on. That means you're committed, you're going. Early action is just whenever you plan to apply and take action early. And then regular decision is just following along with the normal process. So let's move forward. So what's considered in a college application? We're going to dive into each of these pieces a little bit more, so I'm not going to go into detail, but you're going to look at personal information, like we already talked about, test scores, your essay, personal statement, recommendation letters. Each of these things we're going to cover in more depth. So like I said, I'm not going to hang tight on it right now, but let's really quickly just go over some personal information in our next slide. Yeah, so these are some things that you might want to include in your application. First, gender, that might be a question that's asked on your application. And feel free to disclose whatever you're most comfortable with when addressing this particular topic. Ethnicity, again, this is something that you want to share based on your comfortability level. And it does help, these things do help universities to diversify their student population. So if you are comfortable sharing, I think it's a great thing to do. Citizenship information, they'll typically ask for demographic information, like where you're from, those kinds of things. Family information, so your parents' education history, or if your siblings have gone to college, and then disciplinary issues. So you always want to be honest on that. There are counselors at each university that work particularly with that. So I would just encourage you, don't be afraid to share the truth. The truth is always a good thing. And just remind yourself with this question, did I use every space of the application appropriately? So now that we've covered these items, I'm going to transition over to my colleague, Justin from NC State University, and he's going to take us further.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Jordan. So yeah, now it's like she kind of mentioned, talking about actual parts that gets reviewed with applications and things we're looking for. So the first one to think about is kind of the rigor of your curriculum and the GPA. So basically your transcript. So while going through your time in high school, try to find a good balance of taking challenging courses within your high school's context while still making good grades. In general, roughly speaking, challenging courses can be considered like honors, AP, IB, or dual enrollment type classes. You want to find a good balance while making taking them challenging classes and still making the good grades. The good grades, of course, in your classes can factor into your GPA, class rank, or anything around there. In general, I can tell you, no college will ever tell you your GPA is too high. So the more A's you get overall, it's always the better. It means a better chance as far as getting admitted into the university, and also can mean more scholarships for you as well. Next slide. Next one thing about is test scores. And again, like Jordan mentioned, this year is a little bit different. A lot of schools had to move to a more test optional format. But check in with schools you're thinking about applying for and ask them, do they want to see the SAT or the ACT? Do they super score? Is the writing section included? Each school may be a little bit different about this process, especially with this year and things that kind of impacted the world lately. Schools had to make certain changes to be more accommodating to students just because of everything going in the world. So think about that. If you can, ask a school what's their middle 50% of what test scores they normally like to see from their applicants or students who decided to enroll into their university. So it gives you an idea of what test scores to aim for and lets you know whether or not you should report your scores if schools are test optional. Next slide. Next would be your extracurricular activities. So this is the fun stuff that you really enjoy doing outside the classroom. When it comes to extracurricular activities, it's really anything you're really involved in that you truly enjoy, whether it's more clubs or organizations, or maybe an internship, job, community service, anything under the sun. My personal advice to you, find something you're really passionate about because it won't feel like extra work. It's something you truly enjoy your own personal time, and it'll also kind of give you a nice sense and way to be involved in something. Another reason colleges love to see you're involved in things is because every school has different clubs and organizations. So when they can't bring students into their university, they don't want you to do the degree stuff and that's it. So just earn your degree and graduate. They want you to be involved in on campus as well. That's kind of a way it drives in other students and show all the fun things you can do on campus. So you can take your current passions and still bring them to university and have fun and even use it as a stress relief for yourself. Next slide. And then your accomplishments. So your awards you've gotten. On the application, brag about yourself a little bit. We understand you worked a whole lot and worked really hard, especially your ninth year, senior year. And within your senior year, when you start applying to colleges, that's when all that hard work really starts paying off. And you can see kind of the response from everything that you worked so hard for. So feel free to share awards, things you worked really hard about and you're really excited about you was able to get. You can use that time to brag about yourself a little bit and think about it like, okay, what awards or recognitions what I want to share with colleges. This is your one time to really let us know who you are. And so it's a good time to share all that information and kind of highlight yourself. Next slide. And then that kind of goes into your essay and personal statement. So letting people know who you are outside the classroom. What makes you you? What makes you unique? I tell anyone, if you ask anyone who went to college, even the colleagues I'm on the call with today, we all have our own special journey to college and our own story within it. While we may have some similarities, I can promise you all of our stories are going to be a little bit different. And that's what makes us unique and us special. So on applications, use the essay and the writing prompts and your awards to tell people more about you. Give them that context so they feel like they know who you are inside and outside the classroom. We will cover how some schools will do interviews, but other schools will not. So that might be your only chance to really highlight. So let people know any accomplishments you've had, as well as any obstacles you overcome along the way, because that's all valuable information so they can get a better idea of who you are and make a better decision as trying to decide if you're a good fit for their institution. Next slide. And so at this point, we're going to switch gears a little bit over to Amanda. She'll be covering the last little bit of the presentation.
Thanks, Justin. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda from the University of Oklahoma. So when you're applying to schools, especially if you're going Common App, that essay is going to go to everyone that you put as a Common App school you want your information sent to. So I always caution students, make sure you're not mentioning a university by name in that big essay that could be going to lots of other schools. There's nothing more than disheartening than to see another school's name in an essay when a student's applying to Oklahoma. And it definitely makes me do a double take and go, now wait, you want to go where? So be careful of that in the essay. The supplemental information is often going to be really specific to a university, especially for those Common App schools, that they're going to be questions they might be using for scholarship placement for specific majors, or just to get to know a little bit more about you. These are normally going to be short answer compared to your essay questions. So that's definitely something to consider. Look out for that word count. My tip for you is always to be writing these in a word processor or something like that where you can save it outside of your application. That way it's easy for other people to be able to read and edit and give you notes and feedback, and make sure you have that second copy saved for when something goes wrong on the internet and it doesn't quite go the way you thought it was, and you go to hit send and suddenly everything erases, whatever it is, because I know that crazy things can happen. It is 2020, y'all. So just be careful with that. Make sure that you're saving your information somewhere else. But these are often school specific. Sometimes these are just really fun questions. I've seen some really zany questions for different universities. But a lot of it, they want to know more about who you are and how you're going to fit on their campus. That's really what we're looking for through your writing samples. First, your writing ability, and then how do you fit into our community is what we're wanting to see. All right, next slide. Demonstrated interest. Now, this is something that not every school is necessarily going to use, depending on how many applications they see in a year and things like that. It might not be something that they are tracking, can track, or have the ability. And then there are other schools who are tracking every single thing you do. So they could be tracking when you open an email, that we're able to see an email was sent from us, you opened it, you clicked a link, this is how you're engaging with us. And I know that during this time, it can be a little bit harder to connect with universities. I know that we're not traveling as much as we used to. So definitely visit campus can be one that you're going, now how can I do that? But there's so many virtual resources. So be doing those virtual tours. Be reaching out to your admission counselor. That's what the three of us are here today. So we are your point of contact for our schools, but there's someone at every school who's going to be assigned to your specific high school or to Southern California as a whole, whatever it is, that they're going to be there to help you out. So introduce yourselves to us. This is our full-time job, is to get you admitted. We are admission counselors, not denial counselors. So reach out to us and ask the questions of what our specific institutions are going to be looking for. If an interview is offered, definitely take that opportunity. A lot of us aren't using interviews. The three of us on here don't use interviews, but we do one-on-one meetings with students, and that's a great way for us to get to know you. Right now, we're doing them virtually, so either a phone call or a Zoom meeting is what we're offering, but even just sending us an email if that's something more comfortable to you, saying, hi, I'm Amanda, I go to San Juan Hills, and this is what I'm interested in, and here's why I'm looking at your school for that. We want to get to know you. That way, when we're reading applications and we go to represent you in committee, I can say, oh, I already know Justin. He's a great guy. We've talked a ton. He's really interested in us, and here's what he has to offer. Especially for highly selective programs, highly selective scholarships, we are definitely people that you want to know. So make sure that you would be ready for that situation of, am I ready to talk about myself for half an hour? Am I ready to brag at the right moments? Those sorts of things. Next one, please. Recommendation letters. So sometimes these are required, sometimes it's not. If it says that it's optional, definitely take us at our word for that. But I especially am encouraging students this year, if you're not being able to submit test scores like you normally would, definitely take advantage of those letters of recommendation. This is an opportunity for us to learn just a little bit more about you. I always recommend have one coming from the high school first, whether that's a counselor or a teacher, but have it be somebody who knows you. A lot of times it's going to be your junior year teachers because you're really fresh in their mind still when you're applying that first semester of senior year. I always say that English teachers sometimes can be really great writers and have really good letters of recommendation. The one thing I will tell you is that we have no idea who is a popular teacher or super important person on your campus necessarily, especially for all of our friends who are at large public. So do the person who knows you best, not someone who you think is going to be super flattering for us to read a letter of recommendation from. But I always say start with the school and then go from there. So it could be someone in your community, a supervisor at work that you have, if you're involved in organizations, sports, whatever it is, someone who can bring something new to your application is really useful for us to really get to know you. So start thinking about who would I want to ask to write, who would I want to write my letter of recommendation, and make sure that there's someone who is going to give you a glowing review, because we want them to be recommending you for sure. Next slide, thanks. So these are some of the types of decisions you might be seeing. These are some of our more popular ones. So admitted, that's the decision we want, right? We want, back in the day, it used to be called if you got the thick envelope because it had all the admission information. Now a lot of schools just release our decisions online for you to see in a student portal, but that's what we want to see, right, is admitted. And then there's also some conditional admission offers, and this can vary for sure by institution, so that's why you need to be working with the admission counselor for each school. A conditional admission offer could be that you need to be taking this specific course during your freshman year, and once you agree to that, you're fully admitted, or you need to enroll one course at our community college nearby versus taking all of your credit hours with us during that first semester. Different things like that. I know that one of our options is that you have to be meeting with a graduation coach during each semester at the university to be fully admitted. So those will be your conditional admission offers. So if it's a skinny envelope, it's not always bad news or anything like that. It could be, hey, this is what we want you to agree to for us to fully admit you moving forward. Deferred, you're going to see more often if you're applying early decision somewhere, sometimes early action. And instead of considering you in that pool, they're deferring making a decision until their regular decision deadline. So if you apply by November 1st for an early action or early decision school and you get a deferral letter, it means they're going to review you in their larger pool of applicants, which comes a little bit later. Waitlisted means exactly what it sounds like. You are on a wait list waiting to see if there's a spot that opens up for you. So I think that going test optional, you might see some more of these this year, that as we're all trying to shape our classes and kind of see where things are going. We definitely are all in unfamiliar territories in 2020. So waitlisted students, it's not a rejection, but it's also not an admission offer. It's a let's wait and see. A lot of times after the commitment deadlines, which are normally May 1st, when we're starting to see, hey, are we enrolling the number of students that we want to? That's when a school will look at it at its wait list as students tell us if they are coming or not who have been offered admission. So for your friends who are on the wait list, or when you are on the wait list, please let other universities know that you've applied to if you've decided to not attend there. That allows the institution to go ahead and take those students who do still want to attend from their wait list into their admitted pool. So I know that students for some reason are always afraid to tell us they're not coming, but it actually really helps us. We don't want to keep bugging you. Feel free to let us know that you are not attending. I promise we have been rejected by 17 and 18-year-olds many, many, many times now. And then denied, of course, is the decision that we don't want to see. No one likes to be rejected. I totally understand that. But what you want is to have applied to such a great variety of schools and different opportunities for you that you're seeing a little bit of each admission decision. You don't get an award for always being admitted to every school you applied to. You don't need to let anybody else know if you were denied from a school. That can definitely just be between you and that school that decision was made. So don't be discouraged if that is a decision you receive. There's plenty of other schools out there. There's just about 4,000 in the United States. And then when we go global, there's so many choices, you guys, that I definitely don't want you to be discouraged or not apply to a school because you're afraid of the denial. All right, so application game plan. I always like to have a game plan going into anything, especially something big like applying to college. So having a spreadsheet, I'm totally an Excel girl, so this really works for me, but being able to put in there all the valuable information to you. So what is the acceptance rate? Let's be reasonable about how many students are accepted. There are some schools that are reach schools for everybody, you guys, and that's okay. And what their average test scores are if they're wanting test scores. Are they test optional? Is it test optional for admissions and also test optional for scholarship, or only test optional for admissions and you need it for scholarship? Be taking notes on that so you don't have to keep going back to the websites or keep sending the same emails. That way you have it all in one spot for you. Class rank, if they consider that, what their deadlines are, what their different types of enrollment are going to be. What you want to end up with is 9 to 10 schools on there by the end of your junior year is what I encourage, that we have it narrowed down. We don't want to be applying to too many schools because applying can definitely get expensive, but make sure that you have schools falling into all of the categories to know you have a really well-rounded list. All right. I think that is it for me on that one. Here's, it looks like something went weird there, but action items for you. Work on your essay. I always tell students by your senior year, your grades are what your grades are. Normally, in other years, your test scores are what your test scores are by that point. Working on your essay is definitely the one piece that you're really personalizing for us still at that point in the process. So make sure you're really using that space to let us know more about you. It's your application, so you need to own it. Be following up, checking in with us. A lot of us have portals that you can log into to see when things are being checked in. For the sake of your high school counselors, do not say, oh, it says you haven't submitted my transcript yet. I applied last night. The world doesn't quite work like that. I know we want everything to be automatic on the computers, but it does take us time to match it to your application and get it going there. But that's a great place for you to be checking. If it's been a couple of weeks and something's not checked in, touch base with us or touch base with your high school counselor. Sometimes there could just be a glitch in the system. They still exist, I promise. Be communicating with your rep. Junior year is a great year to start reaching out to us even earlier. If you are a senior right now, definitely shoot us an email, introduce yourself and say, hey, my application's coming soon. Just want to let you know how excited I am. Here's why I'm interested in you. And then have one really good question thought up in there. I know this is 3 to 5 intelligent questions to be asking us, but in your introduction, start a conversation of, hey, I really want to know more about this and here's why. I always tell students, know your strengths and weakness and where to be bragging about yourself. For some reason, there's a lot of students who will hold back on bragging. And I say, you know, think like your mom when she's bragging on you. Make sure you're highlighting all of those things. have your resume go by your parents or guardians, so they're able to say, no, you also need to be adding this. Remember this award that you might have forgotten about. So definitely be running those things by the people who know you best so that they can remind you what to highlight about yourself. So those are your action items to get prepared for applying. Seniors, reach out to us definitely now if you have not already reached out to your admission counselor for where you're interested. And then students lower than seniors, reach out to us whenever. We'd love to start a relationship with you and make sure that you're in the know of what's going on our campuses. Don't hesitate. I promise you, we are not scary people. We are very kind and we want to admit you. So, and that is it for me. We're going to do a couple of highlights from our schools and then be able to answer any questions you all might have. So I believe I'm handing it back to Justin to share a little bit about NC State.
Thank you so much, Amanda. So yeah, just want to take a little bit more of a kind of dive in a little bit more in the scope and talk a little bit about our institutions. So I know we had an introduction earlier, just to say it again, my name is Justin Richardson, and I serve as one of the assistant directors of undergraduate admissions here at NC State University. I just want to talk to you a little bit more about NC State overall. Next slide. So NC State, we're located in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is the capital of North Carolina. We are the largest school in North Carolina overall, with about 36,000 students on campus. Of that number, about 25,000 are undergraduate students from over 120 different countries. Even though we are more on the larger size, our average classroom size is about 35 students only, and we have a 14-to-1 student-faculty ratio. So I like to tell students that you still have a big school with still some small school vibes and everything around there. With our location being within Raleigh, we're less than 5 miles from the downtown Raleigh area and the Research Triangle Park area in North Carolina, which is in the United States' largest research park. So being a student on our campus, it'll be very easy to get plugged in with internships, co-ops, or undergraduate research. One of our key things for students come to campus is, of course, you're here to get a 4-year degree, but we also want to make sure you're prepared for the career that you're choosing to go towards. So we'll do everything we can prep you, have you find internships, co-ops, anything around there. And speaking from personal experience, I went to NC State. The reason I got into admissions is from an internship I did with undergraduate admissions during my junior and senior year. So it's a really good way to find different careers, kind of open up some different possibilities, things you may not think about, and really find out what you're looking for within a company and a career path you're looking to take once your 4-year degree comes. So it's a great way to get involved for that. We do have a 94% first-year retention rate. So I do show you that most of the students who do come to NC State will return for their sophomore year. And a lot of that comes to speak from our faculty and staff members. So our professors, they love to meet with students one-on-one, talk to them. Everyone will have set office hours. During the first week of classes, you'll see a lot of students go talk to the professor just to introduce themselves, and kind of shows that they are here to make sure every student is successful. For some people, we understand going to a larger school may seem a little nervous, but we still want to make sure that every student can get help, serve, and let them know we're here to help them forward. As far as more of the fun things you can do and ways you can get involved on campus, we have over 700 different student organizations, over 230 study abroad opportunities, and 23 Division I sports overall. So anything you want to be involved in, that you're currently involved in, or you're looking to explore the world, you definitely can come here as a student and kind of get it all within one form. As far as our majors, we offer over 100 majors in total. Down on the lower left-hand part of the screen, you can see some of our most popular majors. Hands down, our most popular major is engineering. We are known as one of the STEM schools here in North Carolina. Overall, we're #1 in North Carolina for engineering, and we have the second largest engineering career fair in the nation overall. So a lot of our students will come to that. The best way to sum it up for you right now as far as our major selections is that we offer most majors except for nursing. One thing also a little unique about us is that we do admit students directly into their program. So on our application, you have a first choice and second choice major selection. If you are admitted into that major, you will begin directly into that program automatically, and you'll work with an advisor from start to finish, making sure you get everything you need for your 4-year degree. If you may be a little undecided, or you may not know for sure what you want to major in, but you're still looking to come to the university, we do have a major for that. It's called Exploratory Studies. It's a program I came into when I entered NC State. Absolutely phenomenal. And what it is, it allows you to get your feet wet, take some entry-level classes, and help from your advisor find the best fit major for yourself. So it kind of helps with a little bit more of that transition, kind of get a feel of some classes, what you do and don't like, and still help from one of the advisors, making sure you get a good fit for yourself. We do have 2 dates and deadlines overall. We have early action, which deadline to apply for that is November 1st, and regular decision, this deadline to apply is January 15th. Our early action deadline is non-binding. No matter when you apply and when you are admitted, you will have until May 1st to give us that official yes or no. Next slide, please. And as far as our review process, so we do have a holistic review process. Everything on the screen right here are some things that we do look at and take into consideration. For academic achievement, in general, we like to see A's and B's with more A's than B's, and you're taking challenging courses. Your highest SAT or ACT for this year, we are fully test optional. Not submitting any test scores will not hurt your application whatsoever. If you do want to submit your test scores because you think it can enhance your application, just to give you an overview, last year the middle 50% for the SAT was a 1270 through a 1410, and for the ACT a 27 through a 32. Again, you do not have to submit your test scores. You can only choose to submit it if you think it can enhance your application, but it will not hurt you negatively at all. Next is the interest in the program you used to apply for. So again, we do admit students directly into that major. You have a first choice and second choice major. Next is accomplishments. So this is anything you're involved outside the classroom. We care more about quality versus quantity. So we'd rather see you involved in something for multiple years rather than you being involved in 1,001 clubs for just 1 year only. As far as what to be involved in, if you like it, we love it, works completely fine for us. Next, you have background opportunities. So we understand different students have different resources available to themselves. This is valuable information we can take into consideration. And then lastly is your individual story. So going again back to that more personal essay, finding more about you and learning who you are inside and outside the classroom and your journey overall. Every student has their own journey. We love to hear it, and it gives us more information about it. We are, again, once the schools, we don't do interviews, so we had to go out of context provided on the application overall. Next slide, please. So that's a quick overview for it. I will say, if you're interested in learning more about NC State, you can definitely use the Apply tab to kind of see how to submit your application to us and everything we look for. We are on Common App and Coalition. You can use either one for it. If you have any questions about NC State, our email address is right there and our phone number. We don't have certain territories, so we don't do any territory management. Our thoughts and ideas about it is that anyone in our office should be able to assist any student. If you want to write my name down, my name is Justin. It's very easy to remember. You also can say the bald-headed guy. People have done that before too, is they'll make sure you can get in contact with me. But feel free to reach out to us and see what's going on. I will say this upcoming Saturday, we will start our virtual open house. It will be 5 days long, so each day will be focusing on a different topic. So if you are interested in learning more information and seeing more about the university, you can do it. If you just go to openhouse.ncsu.edu, it will pull you up and let you register for open house. And of course, it is free. So that's my quick run through everything. Now I'm going to pass it right back to Amanda to talk a little bit more about the University of Oklahoma.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Justin. My name is Amanda. I am based down in San Diego, so I support all of our West Coast students, but specifically working with San Diego and Orange County are my biggest counties that I am working with, and I love being out here and I love working with you all, so please reach out when I can be of assistance to you. The picture you're seeing is of our South Oval. That is where the majority of our undergraduate classes take place. We are very much a traditional residential walking campus. Students consistently tell me they're choosing OU for campus itself. That's definitely what my case scenario was. I am a graduate of the university, so I always like to lead with that and have you know that I am incredibly biased about OU. Next slide, please. We are located in Norman, Oklahoma, and we are 22,000 undergraduates, so we're very much a large Tier 1 public research institution. We're the flagship for the state. Just about half of our students are actually coming from out of state. Part of that reason is going to be Oklahoma City is the state capital. It is 25 minutes away from us, so students have really easy airport access to get to us, as well as having the city for internship, job placement opportunities, having arts, culture, concerts, nightlife, professional sports, all right there for you. The university itself, our goal is to keep class sizes as small as possible. Anytime we have a class over 100 students, which is only 4% of our classes, we have automatic discussion groups or labs that are capped at 25. And our honors college is a really great way to give you that small liberal arts feel within the context of a large research institution. Those classes are always taught by professors, and they are capped at 22 with an average class size right around 13. Norman is a great college town. It's very focused on the 18 to 22-year-old lifestyle. I loved having that experience myself. Between campus and itself, there's always something going on for our students to enjoy. Next slide, please. We have over 170 different programs of study at OU, so there is a major for everybody. We have the National Weather Center on our campus, highly ranked performing arts, and a complete health science center campus. So we have it all. When applying to OU, you can come in undecided. We do not directly admit to the majority of programs. Performing arts and aviation flying will be the exception to that, but everyone else enters into what is our freshman college. We call it university college. At the end of freshman year is when you officially declare. It doesn't slow down your graduation rate at all. None of our programs are impacted, so we want to get you in and out in 4 years and out into the world. I'm excited to announce OU is test optional for the next 5 years, so no matter where you are in your search process right now, we will be test optional for you. Our early action deadline is November 1st. We are on the Common App, the Coalition, and the OU app. I don't care which way you apply, as long as you do it on time. You are applying for our scholarships at the same time you are applying to us. So be sure to use those supplemental spaces that we talked about earlier when you're applying to OU. Next slide, please. I already mentioned I'm a graduate of OU, so I know the student experience is why the majority of our students are choosing us and finding their home in Oklahoma. Great academics, involved student lives, a beautiful campus, a very large Greek system on our campus, and lots of study abroad opportunities, including our own campuses in Italy and Mexico, are just some of the reasons students are coming to us. Another big one is the chance to cheer on the Sooners. You can see our fans in the background there. We are that football school, and I'm happy if because of Sports Center is how you know us. That's A-okay with me because I am a Sooner myself. Thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Boomer Sooner. I'm going to be handing it over to Jordan, who's the only 10 I see from the University of Tennessee.
Honestly, y'all are never going to hear a better transition than that. So great. Thank you, Amanda. I am super excited to talk to you about the University of Tennessee. I am a Knoxville native and a proud alumna, so I really do bleed orange and white, if you couldn't tell. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to make this quick and nice and simple for you, but if you have questions, you can always reach me. This is a great way to access me here. But University of Tennessee is just fantastic. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide and take a look at what it's like to be a UT student. So first and foremost, we are at the foot of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. That is the most visited national park in the United States. You guys, there's so much to do there. There's a ski resort, there's 800 plus miles of hiking trails, there's whitewater rafting, there's camping and paddle boarding, all kinds of things. So when California students think, oh, what is there to do in Tennessee? Well, really the question is, what is there not to do in Tennessee? So much. It's really great. So if you're an outdoorsy person, you're going to love being on our campus. We are considered an urban wilderness, so there's a lot of green around us. If you look behind me, the Tennessee River lines our campus. So you can be on the water, you can be in a tree. We have hammock stands everywhere on campus, lots to enjoy. We also have just a short walk to downtown Knoxville. It's literally just a mile from campus center to downtown Knoxville where everything's happening. As you can see, it's hustling but bustling. There's farmers markets, there's a traditional theater, you can see movies. There's a historical Tennessee theater. There's a boutique type bowling alley. Just so many things for you to enjoy. And I mean, the most important thing is the food. Amazing food. So lots to enjoy there. Talking about internships, I interned at the U.S. Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division at the federal building. I could walk from my apartment to that internship at the federal building. So much to benefit from. And it's really easy to get to Knoxville. It is just a 15-minute drive from the airport, McGee Tyson Airport, to campus. So very, very accessible. And you want to get to us fast because the next slide will show you all the cool things that we have going on our campus. So we have 29,000 plus students, almost 30,000 this year. And like I said, we are in an urban setting. We're right next to the city, but we're an urban wilderness. So you're going to see a lot of green on our campus. A lot of people ask about Greek life. We are a Greek campus and community. We do have 40 plus Greek organizations to be involved in, but that's just 40 of the 600 plus student organizations that we have on our campus. So there is a group, there is a club, there is a sport for you. There's something for you to be involved in. You're going to love being on campus. There's a place for everybody. If you are a sports person, we are NCAA Division I in the SEC, the best conference in the nation. I know my colleagues are probably fighting me on this right now, but it's my humble opinion. We love being a part of the SEC. We have 23 national championships under our belt. So we are huge on volunteer spirit and tradition. We are a big school spirit school, and the entire city comes along and supports us too. So you'll hear us frequently say that we are the volunteer family. And when you're a Tennessee volunteer, you're Vol for life. So let's see what you can study whenever you're at the university. On to the next slide. So we have 360 undergraduate programs to choose from. That puts us in the top 1% of number of undergraduate programs offered in the world. So very, very few schools have that many options. And you guys, it's not like we just threw a bunch of options in there. We've been around for 226 years. We were founded in 1794. We were a university before we were a state. So we have had a long time to hone in and perfect these programs for you and make sure that we've got something that's really going to set you up for success. Some highlights I want to tell you about. We are home to the world's first body farm. So our Forensic Anthropology Center is an FBI training facility. And students, if you're interested in studying forensics, want to be a part of the CSI scene, our campus definitely feels like a show or a movie sometimes because it is high level stuff. So that's pretty neat. We also have a space institute. So if you want to study aerospace engineering, it's one of our many notable engineering programs, and I've heard that that program in particular is out of this world. Hey. And then finally, we have a partnership. Like I said, we have lots of internship opportunities. We have a partnership with Oak Ridge National Laboratory, which is where the Manhattan Project took place. So if you know your history well, you know that that internship would be the bomb. I want to share with you just a little bit. We have a direct entry nursing program, several pre-professional programs. So pre-vet, we do have a vet school on campus, pre-med, pre-dental, pre-law, we have law school on campus, all those things for you to study. So if you want it, we probably have it. We probably do it well. If any of this interested you, I want you to reach out to me at any point. I am your admissions counselor. So I work with students in Southern California, Arizona, Hawaii, and Nevada. And I'm happy to report to you that we are test optional this year. So don't go driving all the way to Nevada or anywhere else in the area. Don't go flying to another state. If you do not need to apply with a test score, don't worry about it. We want you, and we're going to review you for all the amazing things that you are outside of a test score this year, okay? So super, super excited. Early action deadlines November 2nd, regular admission December 15th, and you should be able to commit to us if you want to be with us by May 1. So that is my information. I think the next slide is just our title slide. So I'm pretty sure we're going to go into a time of Q&A. Am I right? We got a few minutes left.
Yes. We do have some time for questions. So students, families, if you have questions, please submit them in the Q&A. We have some time to answer questions. So submit those if you have any.
I have a question for everyone on our panel tonight. If we don't have any student or parent questions that are rapidly coming in, could all of you go over or describe one of the more common misconceptions or rumors about admission that you guys have heard from students or parents and try to dispel one of those rumors for us?
I think the big one that I've heard this year is that test optional doesn't mean optional for most schools, that they think that we're trying to trick them or bamboozle them into something, that we are going to have a different policy. And I would say that if there is a school out there that is making you feel that way, then maybe it's not the right fit for you, because the majority of us are living through this with you, and test optional means that submitting a test score is the option. It's not that applying without one is the option. It's that submitting a test score is your option if you have one and you want to use it. So that's the big one for 2020 for sure, is what does test optional actually mean?
I would say one I hear a lot is that it's not actual people reading applications, especially reading essays. I tell people, for us, roughly speaking, we get about 30,000 applications, and between our office, we have to go through and read them and read multiple ones and read multiple essays. So a lot of that information they try to skip over. Like Amanda said, sometimes they'll list the wrong school, different little stuff within it. But it is valuable information. We actually go through, look at one by one. And it's always hard to kind of single every single thing out, but I can tell you it's someone, a real human behind the application, reviewing it and making decisions overall. So that you take some time within it. I tell people don't stress, but just take time and put some input into it.
And for me, I would just say, I hear students say, well, my friend who had a 4.2 GPA got into this school, so there's no way that I'm getting in. Y'all, we have a range and we are holistic. As we talked about, we're reviewing your application for multiple things. So don't think that just because you don't have the same GPA or the same extracurricular involvement as another student that you're not going to get in. If you really connect with the school and you feel like it's a good fit for you, then put an application in and see what happens. I really encourage you to just have hope. That's what we're here for, to help you have hope.
All right. Really great insight and answers. Thank you so much for sharing that. We do have a question, and I think all three of you could answer this. Do you require supplemental essays for merit scholarships?
Yeah, I'll do the quick answer for OU. We do use the supplemental questions that are within whichever way you apply. We use those for our merit scholarships.
And I would say same for NC State. We tell students, as long as you apply early action, which is November 1st, you'll be automatically considered for most merit-based scholarships.
And for us, whatever you submit for your regular application for admission is what we're considering for merit scholarships. So no extra stuff that you have to do for UT as well.
Okay, awesome. And then we'll take one more question. What is your acceptance rate for each of your schools? Do you have an answer for that?
We'll just keep rolling in the same order, I guess. It'll vary year to year, but the University of Oklahoma is 65 to 70% of applicants.
And for NC State, we're about 46% each year.
And randomly for us, UT doesn't advertise one. So you can Google and see what other people have guessed, but we really don't advertise an acceptance rate. We just want you to be a part of the fall family if you're a good fit. So there's that.
All right. So some really great questions, really great insight. I don't see any more questions coming in, so I think we're ready to wrap it up. I do have a final request from our students to please submit a survey for us. We want to hear your feedback. We want to know how we can improve our events, our future events. And also just to connect with the lovely reps that joined us today. So if you do want to get in touch with them, you do have to opt in and make sure that you submit your information on that survey. I also want to remind you that this presentation was recorded, so you will have access to it for your viewing pleasure later on. Once again, I want to say thank you to our speakers, Jordan, Justin, Amanda. Really great information and really great insight as for the holistic review and how admission decisions are made. I hope you found this insightful, and I do want to remind our students about our resources, what Futurology does. Like I said at the beginning, I am a Futurology counselor for Capistrano Unified. And so we want to let you all know that we have a lot of resources. Check our website. We are meeting with juniors and seniors this fall. So seniors, if you need help with your applications, your essays, reach out to us. In addition to reaching out all these reps from all the schools that you're interested in, we are also a resource for you. Seniors, we do have, like I said, one-on-one appointments, but we also have college application appointment, college essay appointments. All the college and career counselors that are part of Futurology, including myself, are UC admissions readers. So we are familiar with the holistic review. We know what goes on with holistic review. So please use us as a resource. Come visit us virtually for now. And so with that being said, I think we're ready to wrap it up. Speakers, any last words, any last insights you want to share?
Just thank y'all for having us. We are so glad that we got a chance to share this evening with you, and we're super excited for y'all. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We are here for you, truly.
And I would just say, whether it's going to a four-year school, trade school, something, just do something at the high school. Find a career that's good for you. Make an impact. Give back. Just do something for yourself.
And remember, it's your college admissions process, not your parents. So be sure to go places that you want to be at, because it is your 4 years or 2 years or whatever it is, but it is your future.
Thank you so much. Well, that's it for this presentation. We have 3 more later. We have one at 6, and we have 2 at 6 about financial aid. And then we have 1 more about the transfer process from a community college. So join us for those as well. But thank you so much for being with us this afternoon or evening now. But that's it. Thank you all.